improved defensively. That's been the secret in recent weeks. The early weeks of the season were horrendous in terms of goals conceded. Now they're looking to score a goal or two. They'll have to do better than that. Brandon with the ball for Chesterfield. Edwards this time. Living for Ebden and refound by Ebden. Doesn't quite get it through. The ricochet had to be covered by Curtis, who then plays it straight out. Marcus Ebden. Of Everton and Peterborough United. He's angled a ball through here, and there might be problems for the Mansfield defence if Reeves gets a decent cross ball in, which he does. It's flicked away off the top, I think, of Gadsby's head, and then up to halfway. Lawrence curses the lack of quality in the return delivery. Very vocal player, Liam Lawrence. His game really has grown rapidly over the last 2 seasons. And here he is now. It looks like being his best season in terms of goals, but he's made a mistake himself there, hitting the ball directly at Chris Brandon, who has it again now. Reeves couldn't control it. Disley for Mansfield. Longer ball, but not one to dissect the Chesterfield defence. An easy clearance, and here is Reeves forward. And it was headed away in the nick of time by Pilkington to the other end immediately with Andy White. Was he wrestled to the ground? He was. Well, Hare will not like the decision of Mr. Robinson, but the free kick is for Mansfield in a tasty little position. Here we saw at the other end, it was knocked on from Reeves to Hurst, and Pilkington had to come and head the ball away, which he did. Andy White making a run, Lawrence too. Lawrence with the clip in here, surely. Oh, it's hooked away by Blatherwick. It was a good opening for Mansfield. When Liam Lawrence crossed it in, it seemed certain the ball would end in the Chesterfield net, but it didn't. There was a good bit of defending from Martin Booty and then by Blatherwick. Telepathy, no. Between Lawrence and Clark. Still they await the morning's first goal. And we are still in the morning, by the way, after that 11 o'clock kick-off. It all seems strange playing at this time of day. And I'm sure it does affect players. They get so used to 3 o'clock kick-offs or 7:45s these days. When we change to the norm, it seems very, very unusual. So Clark with the free kick on halfway. End up round about the penalty spot. Needs someone following in. That someone is Day. Then it's Disley. There might be a shot here, but it's thumped back off a Chesterfield body. Mansfield continue to take the game to the opposition, however. Corden's always a good runner, and he can be a good finisher. This time it's easily held by Ben Williams. And Wayne Corden, who scored twice in the last win against Stockport County, at least hit the mark. Lawrence, who gets through so much work, is back there, not just once but twice. Most unfortunate touch there from Clark. So romping forward is Reeves. His brother Alan, of course, is at Swindon Town, a centre-half. Edwards, good skill from him, is away from Lawrence. He will cross one in here. There was danger until it was cleared by Gadsby. Fly kick from Lawrence, a good touch finder as well in rugby union terms. Howson with Chesterfield's throw. It's flicked on by Edwards, but Reeves can't get onto that. Disley. Well, the crowd encouraging the charge forward here, but I don't think Reeves will be able to get to that. He might have done 15 years ago. Even 10, David. Well, there's still not been a great deal of goalmouth action to excite the spectators here. And there shouldn't be any this time. Blatherwick with the option of turning and clearing. Right foot, it was a strange clearance though. He could have used the other foot, and Chesterfield, fortunately for them, still moving forward, but not with any great quality once more. And they are finding it just as hard to break down Mansfield as the Stags are finding it hard to break down the Spireites. Up in the air from Lawrence. Disley, but the ball strikes the man down on the ground, Ebden in that case. Then it's hit long. Far too long for anybody in a yellow shirt. Mansfield's last away win was that one at Oakwell, thanks to Andy White's goal against Barnsley, a day when they should have had more goals really. Isaac Christie missing a penalty. There's an opportunity down the left for Corden. Good ball forward. It's Beardsley here. Mansfield surely. Disley up alongside him. Beardsley is foiled by Williams. Mansfield have probably had the better chances today. And that was certainly one of the best. Corden with a touch forward. Here comes Chris Beardsley. One touch, two touches, and left-footed. That's where he wanted it. But again, Williams equal to it. Everybody's pointing. Dave Rushbury on the touchline. Paul Robinson, the referee, was taken over from Andy Hall, remember, forward as well. And Dave Rushbury clearly not at all amused by something out there. Firm header away. And a little flick forward, but all eyes on the referee again. The whistle gone. And the player summoned for a potential ticking off here. Well, we can't lip read because we're behind you, Mr. Robinson, but the message has got across to Matthew Gadsby. Ebden with the Chesterfield free kick, surely too far. It was a waste. Those spectators standing on the touchline. Just off the touchline. It's not often you see that at football grounds these days. Well, members of the staff, I assume, of course. Nobody seems too worried about them. But it's a tight little ground, Saltergate. Spectators crammed in here. And Edwards looking to give them a lift. Now Hurst with the ball across to Reeves. Steers the ball back into the penalty area. It was dealt with quite effectively. And since Keith Curle took over, Mansfield have managed 3 clean sheets against Wycombe Wanderers, Barnsley and Blackpool. Hitherto they'd been conceding 3s, 4s and 5s with monotonous regularity, and they might concede here. But it's slashed away by Gadsby. Eventually up towards halfway to Andy White. Oh, sitting up uncomfortably there for Lawrence. Blatherwick's header. They're trying to get it across to Wayne Corden on the left touchline, but it's not had as much width, this attack, as Mansfield would have liked. But they always fancy their chances when they get the ball wide to the likes of Lawrence and Corden. They have hopes of scoring. Well controlled there by Hurst. Now it's Reeves. Play across. Never played a first-team game for Kevin Keegan's Manchester City Reece Day, but it's good experience for him at Field Mill right now. Reeves. And allowed him to turn and supply, and then it's down the touchline for Edwards, which is pretty well where he stays. Howson does get it across. There's a flick into the area. There's a shout for a handball from Reeves, and Mr. Robinson has given the penalty kick. and Mansfield can't believe it. Heads on hands from Day. Words between Ben Doan and Craig Disley and Mr. Robinson. Pilkington joining in. Here it is, look, and there's a little flick of the arm there, and the referee has pointed to the penalty spot immediately. Well, drama here. It was Matthew Gadsby whose arm was up, and applause from one of the Chesterfield players there, Brandon. And here is an opportunity for Chesterfield to take the lead. And Marcus Ebden, who scored a penalty goal on the opening day of the season against Queen's Park Rangers, can do likewise here in the derby against Mansfield Town. Can he beat Pilkington? It's Marcus Ebden, and yes he can. Efficiently, calmly, Marcus Ebden strokes it away, and it's Chesterfield who have the lead. And first blood in the derby to the home team. Pilkington went the wrong way. Gadsby is still unhappy about the award of that penalty. It's Chesterfield's fans who are jubilant. Chesterfield 1, Mansfield Town 0. And on the balance of play, it's hard to say that they deserve that, because Mansfield have probably had the better chances, but Keith Curle's not too worried about that. He's now down on the touchline alongside John Gannon. All he's concerned about is his team going a goal down. So things have to be done. Lee Richardson there, who is assistant to Dave Rushbury. And bearing in mind the number of clean sheets Chesterfield have kept, 14 in all this season, Mansfield have a job on their hands now. And, close to half-time at Saltergate. Well, the game needed perking up in a sense, and that goal, well, any goal always lifts a game. And here come Mansfield in response with Andy White. They've got numbers forward, but the ball in dealt with by Howson. Only out to Clark, then to Disley. Further back. Clark does now try to hit it forward, but it bounces off the head of Ebden. Only his third goal, by the way, this season, Marcus Ebden. His other one was a winning goal at Plymouth. When he scored the spot kick on the opening day, it was in a 3-1 defeat at Loftus Road against Queen's Park Rangers. Never been a regular scorer at Ebden. Just about 25, 26 goals in his career. Mansfield's response there, but Lawrence could not get through. Clark will opt for the throw-in. Again, White's job is to hold it up and try and win something around the edge of the Chesterfield area. Couldn't do that, but Glenhurst can only knock it back. Edwards will hit it forward this time, lustily. And all the way through to Pilkington, who had no hope once he'd guessed wrong where Ebden's penalty was going to go. Edwards finds himself going the wrong way. Then he does go the right way on Chesterfield's behalf. Hurst with a dash here to try and keep this in play. It runs away down there towards the players' tunnel. Well, Chesterfield will be delighted to be in this position right now. Just a few minutes to hold on to their lead before the break. Mr. Robinson had no hesitation in awarding that penalty for the handball by Gadsby. Often a moot point whether it's deliberate or not when the ball strikes an arm like that. Mr. Robinson, who has taken over from Andy Hall, the Birmingham referee, who's had to retire with what we understand is a calf strain or a hamstring pull, pointed to the dreaded spot 12 yards out. Well, Mansfield have had a number of free kicks in these situations, but they've not prospered as yet. Those tall centre-backs, Blatherwick and Howson and Payne, O'Hare, all seem to have catered with everything so far. And they cater with this, thanks to Blatherwick. Corden has latched onto it. Curtis inside of him. Corden tries to whip a ball across. Chesterfield smother the attack again, and then Hurst will release Brandon down the right channel. It's Chris Brandon here. pursued by yellow shirts. Ebdon's across the area. Brandon may go alone. In the end, he settles for a ball back, and it's flashed wide. Decent attempt from David Reeves. Scored in the last game here against Luton Town. Brandon held it up well, sized up the options. It was Reeves' shot. Pile driver, but wide. Well, we're edging ever closer to half-time at Saltergate. Chesterfield have the ace card of a goal lead. And a succession of back headers there. And then Lawrence is down the right here. Can Mansfield get something towards the end of the half? It's Disley! It's 1-1, and Craig Disley has equalised for Mansfield on the stroke of half-time. It was a lightning raid. There were a couple of little headed passes, and then the ball through from Liam Lawrence turned out to be perfection for Craig Disley. He was isolated in the centre. They couldn't get to him. He smashed it beyond the goalkeeper, Williams, and Mansfield scores psychologically at a terrific time just before the half-time break. It's one apiece, and Craig Disley has got his third goal of the season, and who knows how important that might be for Keith Curle and co. Well, psychologically, it's such a big difference going in all square at half-time as opposed to being one down. So Disley's goal will have a really calming effect on the Mansfield dressing room. Chesterfield really disappointed to have lost that lead, but they might have a free kick here. The referee's assistant flagging. So there's a bit of work for the Mansfield defence to do just before they get their half-time cup of whatever they drink these days. The Rob Edwards free kick for Chesterfield. Round about the penalty spot, headed straight up in the air, but fortunately out of the penalty area. And the whistle has gone. A message from John Gannon. Keith Curle's not quite sure whether to take the jacket off or not, I don't think. And it's the Mansfield fans who are chanting now. That Craig Disley goal has just changed the entire complexion of the game. 1-0 down, it was not looking too good for the Stags. One apiece, all to play for in the second half. If we get there at 1-1. Chesterfield on their way forward again with Reeves. Good target man. Brandon now. The most fleet of foot of the Chesterfield players. And enjoying the sunlit occasion. Along with the mascot. Steve Payne is the long throw merchant. And it is a long one for Chesterfield, and here's a chance for Hurst, and it had to be hooked away by Clark. Hurst was just hoping the ball would drop nicely for him in there, and an excellent piece of defending from Jamie Clark. Reeves and his colleagues thwarted. It was Steve Payne's long throw, always disconcerting. Reeves with the flick, it found Hurst in there, but look how sharp Clark was. Flying high by Booty. Well, we're close to that half-time whistle. It's one apiece in the derby match. And there's a big shout here for a free kick for Mansfield, and there's a big shout for a yellow card for Steve Payne from the Mansfield following. I don't think Mr. Robinson's going to show him a card, though. He's got his speech well prepared. Not quite sure what Payne's defence is, but it's still going to be a free kick for Mansfield 10. There's the goal scorer, Craig Disley. He scored in Mansfield's last win against Stockport County. 4-2 that one at Field Mill, and a couple for Wayne Corden that day, one for Isden Christie, one for Disley. In fact, the last goals Mansfield scored anywhere before today. Here's Lawrence, probably the star performer of the first half. Doesn't get this one across. Oh, he slashed forward for Brandon, who's made one or two excellent runs forward, but he's not going to make one now because the whistle has gone, and that's half-time here at Saltergate. The game took a while to get going. It did so thanks to the intervention of the referee when he awarded a penalty kick for handball by Matthew Gadsby. It was Marcus Ebden who stroked the ball wide of Kevin Pilkington. Chesterfield led, but it's Mansfield's fans who are perhaps cheering loudest at half-time because they've hit back with Craig Disley's equaliser. So halfway through the derby match, it's Chesterfield 1, Mansfield Town 1.